Okay, it says I'm live. This is the third time we've tried this, so hopefully this one works. So I'm Lady Rose. I'm here with you for Mystic Monday. Hopefully I stay with you. If I cut out, we're having some technical difficulties, so hopefully it won't happen anymore, but you never know with this technology. I'm so glad you could be here. And thank you for joining me, even though I'm like 23 minutes late. I hope some of you will still be able to join me because I am using a brand new deck tonight to do some readings with the Wild Offerings Oracle. So I'm very happy to have that added to my collection. I do have a few people on the donation list, so I'll be doing them first, of course. And I'm not sure what else I'll throw in for them. Maybe a tarot card along with, or maybe a moonology or something to give them a little bonus for doing the donation. But for Mystic Monday, I wanted to talk about the moon and where it is and what's going on with the planets. I also wanted to bring up October because there's so much happening in October. I put out a post today too to see if anybody would be interested in having an online moon circle. And a lot of you seem to have interest on that for Monday, September 20th. So next Monday might be a private link kind of moon circle that we'll do. It's $10 for anyone that wants to join in it. So you can find me on my Facebook page, Goddess Garage Tarot Parlor, and just put a comment below that post if you're interested in the moon circle. I'll reach out to you and I'll message you and probably get an email address because that might be the easiest way to do it so that I can send you the link for the moon circle. So there might not open Mystic Monday next week. It'll be a closed one for that full moon circle. So talking about October, getting very excited because this is Christmas month for the occult world and the witches around the world and stuff like that. So I have some special tarot decks that I'm using for the coming October and Halloween season. So I've got a brand new Seasons of the Witch Oracle deck. It's Samhain or Halloween Oracle deck that I'm going to be using in every reading. It's such a beautiful deck. I'm going to be doing a review for it as well, but I would love to be able to book you in for a reading. All readings will have this deck being used in it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, pretty deck. There's the back of it. There, it's got red gilding instead of gold or silver. It's a very, very awesome deck. I've really liked this deck a lot so far of what I've been reading, the cards and reading the book and whatnot. So book a reading with me and you'll get to know more about this deck as well. And then also too, I'll be incorporating my Bohemian Gothic Tarot. This deck I got in Prague when I was in Prague a few years ago. So it has a lot of the landmarks of Prague, like St. Charles Bridge and the castle. It's very Gothic. So if you like Gothic and you like dark, this is definitely a deck you'll enjoy. You can't get it very easily. It's not one to get very easily. But if you want a reading with it, please, reach out to me and book a October reading. I'm already getting some readings booked for October right now. So those spots do fill up fast. Speaking of filling up, I have an evening in the parlor. I'm going to try and do that once a month where we do guided meditations. We talk about how to tap into your goddess power. We commune and reach out to past loved ones and reach out to spirit guides to see what messages we can get with that evening. It's an in-person only kind of evening. It's not an online thing, so you have to be able to come to the parlor. So I'm here in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. So if you're in that area, please look me up. I'm going to try and do an evening in the parlor once a month. So this Wednesday, September 15th, 2021, I'll be doing an evening in the parlor, and I believe it's already full. So please message me if you'd like to go on a waiting list, should the attendance change at all, or let me know that you want to be in next month's as well. You'd be interested, and I'll send you a link for the invitation for next month. Now, each Wednesday in October, it will be Witchcraft Wednesday, is what I'm calling them. So I have 4 different events that I'm going to be doing in October on Wednesday evenings. They are sort of workshop kind of class environment, so you can come in person. If you want to be online, let me know and we'll arrange that. So the first one, the first Wednesday in October, we're going to be doing the Witch's Way, it's called. So that's the basics of witchcraft, the tools of witchcraft, how to cast a circle, what to do once you're in the casted circle, and what do we do once we're there. Just some of the history and whatnot about witches. And it's a great time to come with your questions about witchcraft in general. I've been a practicing witch for probably close to 40 years. So I've experienced a lot. I don't, know everything, nor does anybody out there, but I'm happy to relay experiences, answer questions as best I can from my experience and whatnot. So please join me if you're interested. And then the second Wednesday of October for our witchcraft series will be spells, wicks, and candlesticks. So we're going to do some special fire scrying and candle magic, and we're going to be focusing on the element of fire. And the thing about candlesticks and fire is that you incorporate those in all rituals. So fire element and fire magic is one of the first magics that any witch sort of learns, because you're going to be using it for the rest of your rituals for the rest of your life, kind of thing. So it's something you are always learning about and using. And then on the third Wednesday of October, we're going to be doing the Wise Woman's Secret Alchemy. So this is where we're going to go good. So we're going to go deep with the Wise Woman's Secret Alchemy, and we're going to be talking about some of the witchcraft kind of secrets, like the blood mysteries, the triad mysteries. We're going to go into those mysteries that a lot of people haven't necessarily heard about. There's a workbook that comes with it, and I'm going to just discuss more about that, especially for those of you that have read like all the books and you know some of the basics, and you've been doing and practicing some of the basics for quite some time. It's actually really hard to find that next level, that next step. So I've been having a lot of requests for this particular kind of workshop or class. So feel free to reach out to me. We'll put my details in the description of how to find me and contact me if you're interested in this class or workshop as well. And then on the last Wednesday of October, which is the Wednesday right before Halloween, we're doing the darker side of the craft. So in that one, well, in the Wise Woman's Secret Alchemy, we touch on some of the blood mysteries. In the darker side of the craft, we talk about more about the blood mysteries, but also we talk about hexes and curses, and the old saying of a witch who can't hex can't heal. There is such things as gray magic and black magic, and how and when to use them, and how and when to lift them if need be. So I know a lot of people out there that practice Wicca, which is different from witchcraft. I talk about that in the Witch's Way, which is the basics of witchcraft. But in Wicca, they're, very adamant about you don't do black magic and, all that kind of stuff. But I'm sort of a gray witch, as they say, that I can go either way. So I've had experience with both sides, and what sort of the energy is around those, because there is such a thing as justified anger. And with that comes some of these spells that help to bind perhaps someone who's being a terrible person. And it can't be done in an impulsive kind of way. But I do talk more about that sort of darker side, because a lot of people don't want to go to that dark side. And dark is not always evil. So those two don't always equate. And so I talk about that in that class as well. So if you'd like to go to the darker side with me, please reach out about that class, which is the last Wednesday of October for the Wednesdays of our Witchcraft Wednesdays. Also in October, I'll be running a course on Thursday nights. Our tarot course will be wrapping up this month. And then in October, we're going to start the shadow work course. So one thing I'm going to do in the shadow work course is, first of all, explain what shadow work is, because I'm sure many of you have heard that term, but don't always know what it means, and don't always know, like, okay, so the shadow work is kind of, things I don't like about myself, or trauma. Okay, so I'm back again. Am I back?
You are back.
Okay. I just had to double check. So the shadow work course is a very powerful, life-changing kind of course, because what we're going to do is we're going to get into the muck, as I say. So we're really going to address some of our darker side, because we all have a light side and a dark side. We're going to break cords, heal traumas, and you're going to get the tools and the knowledge on how to do that. Because so many people, especially online, will say, well, you have to heal the trauma and you have to do this. And it's like, okay, so how do I heal the trauma? How do I cut the cord? In this course, what we're going to be doing is we're going to give you the nuts and bolts and the concrete techniques to do that. So it's a very, very powerful course that I've been working on over COVID and finally able to bring to the table. So if you're interested in that, you can check on my Facebook page. That's generally where I put all my events. And soon I'll be putting all my events on my website as well. Woohoo! The website's getting closer. But for now, check my Facebook page. All my events are generally listed up there. I don't have the darker side of the craft up there yet, but I will be putting it up probably in the next day or two. I like to give you guys a lot of heads up for October, because it does get very busy very quickly, and it does fill up very quickly as well. So if you want a spot, I would recommend you grab it as soon as you can. And I think that's it for those events. Now let's talk about what the moon is doing and what's happening in the skies this week, because it's kind of interesting. Right now, the moon is in Sagittarius. There you go. It's in your sign, Sarah.
Yeah, it is. One of them.
And it's going to be there for the next day and a half or so. And the sort of the beginning sentence of every Sagittarian is I seek, because they are the hunters of the zodiac. So they're always looking and seeking for things. So this is actually a great time for everybody, in particular for Sagittarians. If there's something they're looking for, now's the time to find it. And it's also a very lucky time, because Sagittarians generally bring luck with them, because they are the hunters. Hunters need two things. Well, they need three things, actually. They need patience, they need skill, and they just need luck as well. Because sometimes when you hunt, it's not your skill or patience, it's just you're in the right place at the right time to catch your prey. So then also this week, though, Venus and Saturn are linking up in a very tricky and kind of tumultuous way. So they're not dancing, they're kind of sparring a little bit. And you may find that this week, and probably into next week a little bit, that you feel like there's not enough love in your life, or that your love is struggling, whether it's you or your partner. You may be feeling neglected or forgotten in some way, being sort of left out of things. You're more sensitive to that, and you may read more into that. So try not to take that sort of stuff personally. You may be feeling being neglected and that sort of thing. Anxiety may be running high this week. So watch for that. Use some techniques to kind of be able to talk yourself down out of your anxiety, because you're going to be more prone to it cropping up on you. Don't use it as a crutch, but try to work your way through it and know that this too shall pass. I know anxiety can be very scary when you're in the middle of the throes of it. However, keep that mantra, this too shall pass, because happiness doesn't last forever, but neither does anxiety, neither does fear, neither does grieving, sadness, all those things. They don't last either. So know that you're going through a bit of a transition, and that's okay. And remind yourself you're safe. You're safe where you are. You're safe where you are. So try to keep those thoughts in mind, because a lot of times when you're in the throes of anxiety, you feel very unsafe and unstable. Whether it's true or not, in reality, you feel that. So try to remind yourself that you are safe and that everything's going to be okay, that sort of thing. You may also find you are sleeping more this week. It's very interesting. Sarah had a good little day today. So be gentle with yourself and allow yourself that extra sleep. If you want to sleep, then do that, because that may be the opposite reaction to going into those places of anxiety. Your body might know that you need to heal, and you heal when you're sleeping, and pretty much only when you're sleeping. Healing is a nocturnal activity because it's when the conscious mind shuts down and the subconscious comes to the surface and is allowed to do its work. And it does work in a much bigger scale at a much faster pace than our conscious mind does. When we're awake, we're actually in a slow brain wave. We think we're all clever and stuff, and we really aren't until we are asleep. So if you're sleeping more, if that's what your body and what your mind and spirit needs, then let it happen. So you'll probably be finding you're sleeping more than you normally would, that you when you think about sleep, you're like, oh, I could sleep forever. You might find it's harder to get out of bed this week. So try to, be gentle about all those things for yourself as well. And to stop all of this stuff, anxiety or too much sleep or sleepiness in its tracks right now, is by thinking of something